Okay, so I've finished putting all of my pieces of fabric on, and I've still got some threads there that need to come off, but that's fine, I can sort those. I've stuck a pin with a pearl in each end just because I think it looks pretty. And you can see that they don't quite meet up, but they're not far off. There's a slight gap in the middle. That's fine, because that's going to be covered by our ribbon. Now, if you don't have ribbon, you can do a long strip of fabric and fold in the edges and put that all the way around as a sort of a centerpiece. And the only ribbons that I've got that are anywhere near the right colour are sort of lightweight, sort of, I don't know what you call it, iridescent, translucent, something or other. So I'm going to have to go around a couple of times just to cover. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to pop a couple of pins. This is 1 inch wide, this ribbon. A couple of pins to hold the end in place. I hope you're not all cursing me. Your fingers will probably be really sore now, because it does make your fingers sore after a while. So I'm going to have to go around at least a couple of, there's fluff there, at least a couple of times to kind of cover that, because this ribbon isn't very thick. It's just lightweight sort of voile stuff. And I don't want to be able to see through and see the join, or the lack thereof, a join. So I'm literally just winding round. Okay, so I'm just going to trim off. And again, I'm just going to pin that end so that it doesn't come undone. Now, if you want to put a few pins around the edges of that, you can do. It's up to you. It's your project. So I'm now going to, I've got a bit of purple, so I'm going to kind of stick the purple bit in the middle. So we've got a sort of an accent, if you like, on your ribbon. Just because I happen to have the purple, not because I wanted an accent, it just happened to be something that kind of went. So I don't have vast amounts of ribbons. It's not something I use very often. So I'm just going to place that thinner ribbon centrally. Should I do 2 rows? Yeah, let's do 2 layers because it's a bit more ballsy then. It's got a bit more to it. So I'm putting it quite tight so that it doesn't kind of unravel and come off. And now what I need is something to hang it on. So I've got my ribbon which kind of covers the join in the middle. So you can, if you want to, put a few pins just around the outside to keep the ribbon in place. I've never had one fall off, so I'm not sure it's absolutely essential. So I've cut a piece to make my handle to attach, to hang it by. And it's just, I mean, I've made it the length that I want to make it. You can make it whatever length you want to make it. It's really very much up to you. And again, I'm going to pin this in place. I'd often use longer pins for this, just to give it a little bit more oomph. But they're not massively, I mean, they're heavier than they obviously than a plain polystyrene ball. There's a lot of fabric on this. I haven't counted how many little squares I've put on here, but I might do when I've turned the video off. Just a few more pins just to hold your hanging piece in place. And then you need something to kind of cover that, don't you? So we want a pretty bow of some sort. So this is 1/2 inch, I think it is. Yeah, it's 1/2 inch. And this is what I've got, so it's not something that I would normally go out. I wouldn't go out and buy it. So I'm going to cut, I'm going to say those are, I was going to say they're 9, that's what I normally do, is about 9. But I'm going to make a bow with, because this is quite thin, I may well use, oh, I don't know, 10 perhaps lengths. I might even add some of the thicker stuff as well, and make a sort of a, I'm not really a bow maker. My daughter's very good at this because she's a florist. Bows are her thing. That's what florists do. So if you're a florist, you definitely have an advantage here. I'm sure there's an easier way of doing this. Don't really know what it is. This is how I've always done them. Okay, so I'm just matching the two ends and making a sort of almost a circle out of them. And if you wanted to put a little bit of glue, you could do. And you can actually pin those on as you go, which is probably easier. I usually end up holding them all, and I don't know why now. I'm thinking about it. Because you can easily just pin them on as you go. That's what you call doing it on the hoof. And just turning the bits around as you go. And you're just making loops, really, like a figure of 8. No idea why I didn't think to do this earlier on. I've always done it by holding it in my hand, but this is so much easier. I think it rather depends on what ribbon you've got as well. I mean, this ribbon is pretty flimsy, so let's just reduce the length of these down. So the last couple will be smaller. And I'm just turning them slightly as I put them on, which just gives you a kind of a 3D effect to your bow. And you can use multiple ribbons or single ribbons, or whatever you've got really. Or you could make something with a bit of lace, or any kind of trimming that you've got that you think might be pretty or might go with your fabrics. If you've got a bit of sparkle, Christmas sparkle, tinsel, any of those things will work. I'm going to put some beads on there as well, but I will need to go and find my bead tin. And I'm just going to pop a couple of long tails because I really like a couple of long tails. And let's just angle the corner and angle the corners, angle the bottom edges, because I think it looks nice when they're angled. I'll just trim off that top bit. I'm just going to lift that up. And pin the tails in there. And what we have is our beautiful decoration all done. And I think you'll agree, it's absolutely fabulous. You can be as creative as you want. I'm not a bow maker. I don't really make bows. It's not something that sort of floats my boat, and it's not something I've got lots of equipment to do. So, but they do look nice with a bit of vavavoom on the top, tinsel, Christmas baubles, whatever you like, just to finish them off. And there you are. There's your Christmas bauble, your folded Christmas bauble. I am going to count all these pieces though and tell you how many are in there.